obligatory 5 grams of creatine every day. All right, filming. I've tried to set this up a couple times. I'm just gonna go for it. So it's been a while since I posted a long form video on this channel. I think it's been about 2 years. Since then, I've become a father to 2 amazing kids. I'm a husband, working full-time job, got a family, have a house, dogs, all these things kind of like, going on in my life. And I'm 32 at this point, right? So, why am I making this video? I think a lot of what I've posted in the past, for just creative outlets for fun, have been around my hobbies like World of Warcraft and kind of like businessy stuff. And then most recently food. I'm, big into drinking coffee and cooking, and staying healthy has been kind of a big part of my life for a while, but I'm trying to be consistent with it recently, and consistent with a lot of things too. So that's where that creatine video came in, that short, if any of you have seen it. I think it has almost 600K views now, which is crazy. I think, in this phase of my life, I want to continue to try and put something out there. I think we're in a crazy time, and people are saying this, articles and wherever you look, right, with AI and kind of the future of work, and even being a creative is at kind of a turning point, sort of, where you have just artificially generated content and people trying to do their best to stand out and add value and create something meaningful. I've tried many times to just post, and I'm a huge fan of YouTube and content and creating things that you enjoy and love. And you can see I've had videos posted, from 14 years ago up until now. And I think in my life I've carved out, bits and pieces of things that have mattered, like family, trying to do as well as I can at my job, supporting my family, and staying fit and healthy. I've now try and get to the gym at least 2 days a week for weightlifting, and then try and get some form of cardio in. A lot of it is really just to be confident in myself, how I look, how I feel, but then also being able to show up for my family, friends, and just life in general, right? So I think with a 5-month-old baby girl at this point, it's tough to really get to the gym as much as I would like. Hopefully at a certain point that can ramp up, but trying to find a balance and not just totally cut stuff out that's important to you is something I've learned. But anyway, so I think, today I'm on my last day of paternity leave with my wonderful baby girl. She's 5 months old. We've had a lot of fun. Taken it easy, relaxed a lot, and I've made it a goal to try and post something, whether on YouTube or Instagram or something creatively. And I just haven't. I filmed stuff, but I haven't posted stuff. And so this is really a video to really do that and try and, stay consistent in some form, where I want to keep you guys up to date with what I'm doing, what my thoughts are for this channel for the long term. Still love kind of the shorts that I've been making, food oriented, fitness, different kind of how-to methods for, preparing your morning and meals and things like that. And then on the other side, I'm a product manager full-time within kind of the fintech industry, and I it's hard to stay away from all the news and things like that, but I've been tinkering and finally subscribed to Claude Pro and have just a couple of basic app ideas I want to start building and getting my kind of feet wet with, just so I don't, there's that fear, right? A fear of you just not getting left behind. And so I think it's something I'm doing out of interest, out of curiosity, someone who's sort of been lurking for a while, just always on LinkedIn, reading newsletters, podcasts, and all that. But I think, now is the perfect time for me and for anybody else watching who has a thought, an idea, to just tinker. Whether it's, a great idea, whether it's a terrible idea, somewhere in the middle, just beginning to learn how all these kinds of tools work. So pick one. There's a lot out there, and just kind of go as deep as you can, right? I think that's the best you can do without kind of getting too OCD about it and not making progress. Just pick one, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Vercel, Cursor, right? Whether you want to build something, a visual site, or you want to code an app, whatever it is, just do it. Because then you at least begin to learn about what the possibilities are for your ideas and for those tools. And so that's kind of the other thing I wanted to mention of I'm beginning to play around. I'd love to share kind of and get people's thoughts and, see how my skills there evolve. But in general, kind of a, welcome back video. This is kind of a life update. Interests and hobbies still remain the same. Love Pokemon cards, WoW nerd. I don't really play anymore, but I follow a lot of people, so happy to kind of share and talk about that. Trying to stay fit. 32-year-old parent, husband. Love cooking. Love trying to stay moderately healthy and in shape, and just do what I can. So I'll film kind of the rest of my day here. Last day of paternity leave. This is a Friday, and so Monday I'm back to work. So trying to do some creative things today, and then, we'll post that, hope some of that lands, and just trying to stay consistent. I think out of this whole experience of just parenthood and being an adult, you go through a lot of different phases of interests, hobbies, things you do, right? Things you don't do. And the biggest lesson I think that comes to mind is just consistency, right? So with working out, I like to think I'm in decently good shape compared to where it was many years ago. And I think it just is a mindset shift where you need to be eager and hungry and always kind of be pressing forward. Like, okay, I know I need to work out. When was the last time I worked out? And really carve out that time. There's some days where I know I, post, or pre having two kids, when I had one kid, I knew I only had like 15 to 30 minutes to get a workout in. So I would just go outside and run for 15, 30 minutes, and that's it. And I think over time, if you even have to do that a couple days a week, that's a great workout, right? You're gonna, even if you eat a decent amount during the day, you still have done some form of exercise, and that's great, right? I don't think you need to do what you see online with all these crazy athletes like Nick Bear and others who are phenomenal, inspirational people and athletes, but they have, very extreme goals and aspirations. And I think for, the average person, carving out moments of time in the day to do these kind of small workouts those are wins. And even if you continue to do that 15 to 30 minute workouts, that's great. So anyway, hope you like my rambling.
If you had 50 grand, I mean, that's a ton of cash that you saved up.
I saved a lot of money, yeah.
Presumably you could bring some people on and hire them, and
I did, yeah. I had the capital, but it was more than just the capital.
Baby girl and I are gonna hit up Trader Joe's, get some frozen stuff, make a good easy dinner tonight, and then head back. R.I.P. Iron Hill Brewery. All right, we just got back from Trader Joe's. It's almost 2 o'clock. I'm hungry, had a little bite of banana. This has essentially been my go-to lunchtime snack. I even have this for breakfast and kind of before bed too, some variation of this. Just consistently, I've been doing this for the last couple months, to be honest, even since like last summer. I just took to this. Oikos yogurt, favorite brand right now. Transparent Labs protein, fairly expensive protein, but I love the taste, good quality stuff. And then Kodiak granola, big granola guy. This is my favorite one so by far. And then a banana, already took a bite, so I will essentially mix all of these together, make kind of like a yogurt pudding with the granola, with the yogurt and the protein powder, and then granola on top, banana, and then I'll eat this. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm hungry. Oh my gosh. All right. This part takes some time, so be patient here. This takes some time, so I gotta be a little patient. Just watch. Try to mix the powder out. Chocolatey, crunchy, banana-y. It's the best. It's the best. Things are happening. I have no idea what I'm doing. Make this edit. So I've got Claude Code linked up to VS Visual Studio Code. I'm putting together my first app idea, or not first app idea, but an app idea I've wanted to work on, MVP, and literally over a day, I started it yesterday. Got the basic front end, back end working, was able to test on local. It's super simple. I think a part of this is just getting used to the tools and if you're not a technical person, but you have an idea, you can do something about it now. And that's kind of, I think that one of the recurring themes as well for me is just having courage, doing the things that I wanted to do, make some kind of change in my life, and build and create something that's just fun. So working on this project on the side, we'll try and continue to make it better, and then just continue to do more projects like this and see how kind of the AI vibe coding skills and all of that develop for me, especially just with everything that's going on in the world and the industry. I don't know if my viewers are technical people or not, or keep up with like news, but the company Block or Square, Cash App, just let go of 4,000 people, and the stock somehow jumped 20%. So there's just so many layoffs happening within tech, big tech, and it's scary to see as someone who's not in big tech but works within financial services technology as a product manager. I'm somewhat close to it. I need to work on my skill set, and I think just even if you're not in that domain, it's just helpful to learn about these tools and just begin to understand the capability, mess around with it, right? Whether you're just asking ChatGPT basic questions, using Claude or Perplexity, I think a lot of this is just familiarizing yourself with the tools, beginning to habitualize them, use them, daily, weekly, for whatever you're working on. And I think a lot of this is just not getting left behind. It's scary, it's exciting and new. There's so many open questions around what the future of work will look like. I have lots of questions about what the future of education will look like for my kids, for the future. And I think as a parent, right, becoming familiar, taking that step, having the courage to dabble in this stuff. And for me, it's working on this little silly project, using it for just day-to-day use of just general questions I have, or thinking through anything. It's important. So I'm going to continue with whatever this is. And then for the rest of my day, we'll go get baby girl when she's woken up, clean the house, spend some time together before the rest of the family comes home. And then, once 5 o'clock hits, regardless of paternity leave or not, that's when, 5 to 7 p.m., family time. I think that's one of the most important things I've realized too, as just a, early 30s parent, working, got a house, all of that. If you're somebody who cares about their family and building a great family, and you're busy working, whether you have, a really busy job, you're a doctor, lawyer, high finance, consulting, whatever, or just any other kind of job, carving out time on a daily basis, if you're able to be at home with your family, is important. And for me, trying to be there during that 5 to 7 p.m. period, because that's when everybody's home, we have fun, we try to have dinner. Sometimes it's hard to have dinner within that range, and then kids go to bed kind of around 7 to 7:30, so at least we try to stick with that. And then after that, live! What do I do? There it is. There's my app. Whoa! That's something. Whoa, someone voted for my app. All right, getting good feedback from my wife. So this is my admin cook interface. And then this is the kind of end user interface. You just vote. That was it. So if you can't tell already by this silly little app I made, one problem I have on a recurring basis is, what would you like to have for dinner? Two busy individuals living together, friends, groups of people, want to figure out what they're having for dinner, if you care about food. And so I made this little app as a way to kind of like vote for a meal. So you'd essentially have a cook. That cook would be the host of the kind of food event, aka dinner. They would have a couple of options. They would then invite people in their household or group or what have you to the dinner. And then people essentially vote. And so that's the base of it. I'm hybrid, I'm remote. So sometimes I'll be at home, sometimes I'll be in the office. I work out in the suburbs. She works in the city. So, you know, we're both busy. And by the time we're home trying to figure out what to do for dinner, if you have 2 young kids, if you know, trying to even navigate making dinner is almost an impossible task unless you're just microwaving something up quickly or one parent puts on the TV, something, right? So this is a way to kind of think, okay, what can I begin to think about and plan about in the early afternoon, 3 o'clock or so. Maybe you have to run to the grocery store and grab some things where you already know, hey, this is what I'm supposed to get tonight, whether it's something I need to buy along the way. Maybe you're stopping at Chick-fil-A, or maybe you're going to be someone who loves to cook, right? And so you have a sense of what that's going to be. And so that's really all this is in its simplicity. So I'll start tinkering a little more and build this out, but this is the first idea. And, you know, I have no, I think there's no harm in, well, not no harm, but I think there's no, in this day and age, if you're on, you know, LinkedIn, on Twitter, and you're someone who's a working professional, ideas come and go. You know, really good ideas are obviously rare, but executing and following through on something is a whole nother thing. So it's one thing to talk about your idea and say, oh, this is a great idea. And that's happened to me many, many times, I'm sure, with tons of other people as well. But it's one thing to have the idea and to begin to execute and do it and carry it out. So this is the one app that I'm working on right now. We'll probably take it forward and tweak it, make it a little bit, you know, more, kind of improve it, make it more comprehensive, and then kind of see what happens. And, you know, I'm sure there's a version of this out today, but this is really something I'm hoping to just use with my wife and I on a hopefully daily basis. You know, we text a ton. We're not always in the same room. And this would just be an easy way to kind of get a response out there. So I have an understanding of what we're going to have for dinner, because I care a lot about food, what I want to eat. So it's always good to have kind of that answer, right? So if any of you guys have any thoughts on this, super happy to talk more on it, take any feedback. I will also show one other thing here. Okay, just taped this up. My wife and I got radiator covers recently. There are old cast iron radiators underneath this cool cover. I've got it prepped, and it's just this window trim that's very gone and needs to be painted over in a bunch of spots. So I'm gonna do this while baby sleeps, and then hopefully wrap up, clean the house, get her, and then just spend time until it's the end of the day. Can you put it in the back? Nice. Nice. All right. Good job. Run, 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 run. Scar's evil reign had ended, and Simba took his rightful place as the Lion King. The end. It is 9:08 at night. Last day of paternity leave, wrapping it up. Had a good day. Got a decent amount done. I was sort of figure I'm gonna get more done than I can, but I think that's, always a takeaway of just trying to get a couple things done. But anyway, took my son to Target at the end of the day. Work on this little side project a little bit more. Probably watch some YouTube videos and then hit the hay. I don't really have a good way to wrap this up, but I think if you've stayed around and at least, or even skipped to this part, thank you so much. Probably watch some of the other videos that are recommended here for you guys. And yeah, keep posting more consistently, trying to figure out kind of where I'm headed with this channel long form wise. We'll keep posting a bunch of cool short-term stuff that I'm interested in. So more to come. And thank you guys for joining me on my last day of paternity leave. If you are getting ready to do your paternity leave or think about having kids or, looking at dabbling into, AI as a side project, not that I'm an expert, do all those things, consider those things, talk about those things with your partner, your friends, do your research. But most importantly, I think, do what you feel, works best for your life and your goals, and leave a comment down below if there's a question that you have. I'm happy to chime in and share my 2 cents. And, just support one another in this, world with all this stuff going on. So again, rambling, but I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one. Good night.